Hey, what's up guys? I'm TheoJoe, and in this video I'm going to show you how you can double the amount of flash storage in your phone without having to buy anything special, without breaking your phone or anything like that. It's actually surprisingly easy. And as usual, first I'm going to explain how this is going to work, and then I'll walk you through exactly and show you what you have to do. You see, your smartphone uses flash memory for storage, and flash memory is a solid state type of memory, as opposed to a hard drive, for example, which has moving parts. So this makes flash memory much faster and more durable, and it also has some interesting properties that we can take advantage of. Now, flash storage uses what are called cells, and these are basically small units of storage, and you can combine as many cells as you need to give you more or less storage. So depending on how much storage your phone has, it will have a proportional number of cells. The important thing to know about flash memory, though, is that each cell almost always has what are called layers. Now, you may have heard of the terms SLC for single layer cell or MLC for multi-layer cell, but basically adding layers to a cell in flash memory allows you to store more data depending on how many layers you add. So for example, a 2-layer cell would store twice as much data as a single layer cell. And really the only advantage for single layer is that it's faster. And cell phones typically have multi-layer cell memory because it's much cheaper to produce. But here's the thing, most cell phone manufacturers don't actually enable all the layers in the cells. They only enable one of the layers so that the memory is a bit faster. So instead of creating single layer chips right off the bat, it's actually cheaper for them to create multi-layer chips and deactivate half of the layers so it acts like single layer chips. This means that half the memory in your phone is left unused, a consequence of cheaper manufacturing costs. But if we were able to reactivate these unused cell layers, we could multiply the amount of storage in the phone, and there is a way we can do this. You see, when the manufacturer created the flash memory chips, they deactivated the cell layers by simply powering them down, so to speak. But we can actually power them back up using a focused electromagnetic field. And this will actually give it just a tiny bit of jump start to permanently reactivate each layer. So in doing that, we could give the phone access to all the memory available in those chips. So that's what I'm going to show you how to do. Okay, so now that you know the basics of what's going on, you're going to need a few things. Your phone, of course, some wire, any will do, a few batteries, some sort of metal pan, and your computer speakers. This is going to seem really strange, but bear with me, I'll explain it all. Now, before I get into the tutorial, I want to do a quick scientific explanation on the process for those of you who are interested. And if you don't want to listen to all that, you could skip ahead, I understand, but it's actually pretty interesting, so I recommend sticking around. So let me explain how these cell layers get deactivated, and then how we can reactivate them. Now, every flash memory cell is made up of a transistor, and these are connected through what's called a PN junction. You don't really need to know the specifics, it's just what's connecting the different transistors together. And depending on the state of the junction, it's either on or off, 1 or 0. And that's how computers work in general. It's just a bunch of transistors, 1 or 0, that make up a program. But a particular flash memory cell is going to have several PN junctions to store enough data. But in every cell between the cell layers, there is a special PN junction that connects the different layers of the cell. And if we set that junction to 0 or off, that layer in the cell becomes inaccessible, and it's like it's not there at all. Now, the state of the junction, whether it's on or off, is just determined by its energy level. Above a certain threshold, called the knee voltage, it switches on or off. So if we're able to just temporarily get the knee voltage above the threshold, it will permanently activate the extra layers connected to it. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to add extra energy into the PN junction using electromagnetic induction and physical vibrational energy to jumpstart that PN junction switch open and reactivate those layers. Now, enough talk. I'm sure you guys are eager to get started, so let's head over and I'll show you exactly what you have to do. Alright, so now let's get started. The first thing you need to do is turn off your phone, but before we do that, I want to show you what we're working with. If it focuses, you can see that we have 32 gigabytes of memory free here, and it's only about 17 gigabytes used, so I'm almost halfway through, so hopefully we'll be able to double that to about 64 if this works. So then you can go ahead and turn off your phone. So the next thing we need to do is create an induction coil around the phone. So what you want to do is take these two batteries and then also get the wire and put the batteries close to the phone, probably behind it, and then we're just going to wrap the wire, I'm just using an Ethernet cable, around the phone and secure the batteries to the phone as best you can. So it might be kind of picky, but we got them centered pretty good. And just wrap that around enough until it's really secure. And they're not going to go anywhere. It's working pretty good. And then you can just either tuck the wire into itself so it doesn't go anywhere, or you could use some tape or something like that. That looks pretty secure. The batteries are right there. And we have this up, the phone turned back on, so you want to make sure to turn it back off again if you get the chance. So when you're doing it, just make sure that the cable doesn't press down on the power button and turn it back on. And also, you probably want to have a case on here so the batteries don't scratch the back, or maybe put like a tissue in between the batteries and the phone or something like that. Just use common sense. Okay, so once it's all wrapped up nice, then you can go ahead and get your pan, and this is going to allow us to amplify the EM field to a high enough strength. And again, I would recommend putting something in there so it doesn't scratch the phone or anything. It's not going to affect the process. And then it looks like that. So right now, believe it or not, with this wire wrapped around it and the batteries, there actually is an electromagnetic field being generated from the batteries around the coil and being applied to the phone. But it's not enough to actually kickstart those extra layers into activation. So we need to do a little bit more. So once you have all this, next you want to go ahead and get your speaker for your computer and just put it right on top of the phone, directly down on it. And yes, the speaker has to be hooked up to the computer for what we're going to do next. So what you want to do is go to your computer and just find any sound file. It doesn't matter what it is. You just want to be able to make sure that you can get it really loud. For example, I'm going to play a 300 hertz sine wave right onto the phone. And as I mentioned in the scientific explanation, that's going to add a little bit extra energy in addition to the EM field and kickstart those extra layers open. So now you just want to play the sound file for about 15 seconds, about as loud as you can, just like I am now. And if you have to, you can let it go for about 30 seconds, but 15 should be enough. So then, of course, you can take the speaker off and then just let the phone sit like that for maybe about 5 minutes, just a little while. And this is just to make sure that all the cell layers have a chance to activate after you energize them. And now we can go ahead and unravel this and see if it worked. Start to turn back on again, but that's okay at this point. All right, so there you have it. We now have 64 gigabytes of storage, double what it was before, way more available space now. If it's a little bit less, it probably just means that not all the cells were activated, but still worked, as you can see here. All right, so that's it. Your cell phone storage should now be double what it was before. And if it didn't quite double, if it's a little bit less, it could mean you just need to let it go a little bit longer, or it could also mean that some of the layers just aren't going to be activated. And this should also work on any type of cell phone, iPhone, or Android. They all use the same type of memory. And it's actually possible that it will more than double the storage if there are more than 2 extra layers in the phone storage. So I hope this worked for you guys. If it did, let us know down in the comment section how well it worked. If you got double or even more possibly, love to hear that. Also, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up so I know you liked it. If you guys want to keep watching, I've got some other videos on the right hand side. You can just click those or look in the description for the same link like if you're on a phone. And if you want to subscribe, I make new videos Monday, Wednesday, Friday, so I think it should be worth it. Looking forward to hearing from you guys, so thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Have a good one.